In the heart of medieval Europe, amidst the shadowy peaks of the Carpathian Mountains, lived a ruler so feared that his name still sends chills down spines centuries later. His name was Vlad Dracula, better known as Vlad the Impaler. But beyond the myths, beyond the legend of Dracula, there was a real man, one who used brutal war tactics to defend his lands and strike terror into his enemies. A leader whose methods were as terrifying as they were effective. What drove him to such extremes? And how did this fearsome warrior bring mighty enemies to their knees? Join us as we unravel the terrifying truth behind Vlad the Impaler and the military genius hidden within the legend. Vlad III, later known as Vlad the Impaler, was born in 1431 in the fortress of Sighisoara, Transylvania. His father, Vlad II, was a member of the Order of the Dragon, a secret order dedicated to defending Christianity from the Ottoman Empire. This order bestowed upon Vlad's family the surname Dracul, meaning the dragon. Vlad's youth was marred by violence, betrayal, and political intrigue. At just 13 years old, Vlad and his younger brother Radu were taken hostage by the Ottoman Empire, a political move meant to ensure their father's loyalty. It was during these formative years in captivity that Vlad learned the ways of war and developed the ruthless mindset that would later define his reign. The Ottomans unwittingly taught him how to fight, but also instilled in him a deep, burning hatred for his captors. After years of captivity, Vlad returned to Wallachia in 1448, determined to reclaim his father's throne. His homecoming was no peaceful affair. The throne of Wallachia was in turmoil, with various factions vying for power. Vlad knew he could not rely on diplomacy alone. He needed to assert control in the most brutal fashion possible. Vlad quickly earned a reputation for his extreme cruelty toward those who defied him. His favored method of execution? Impalement. This gruesome practice would not only serve as a punishment, but as a chilling message to anyone who dared to oppose him. With the throne of Wallachia firmly in his grasp, Vlad turned his gaze toward an even greater threat, the expanding power of the Ottoman Empire. To protect his homeland, Vlad would stop at nothing, even if it meant becoming the very monster that would later inspire the legend of Dracula. Vlad's war against the Ottomans was not fought with armies alone. His brilliance lay in his ability to wage psychological warfare, using fear as his greatest weapon. In 1462, Sultan Mehmed II, the conqueror of Constantinople, launched a massive invasion to crush Vlad and bring Wallachia under Ottoman control. Vastly outnumbered, Vlad knew he could not face the Ottoman forces head-on in open battle. Instead, he resorted to guerrilla warfare, ambushes, and scorched earth tactics. Vlad's army harassed Ottoman forces with night raids, cutting off supply lines and leaving nothing but scorched earth in their wake. He poisoned wells and destroyed farmland, forcing the Ottomans to march deeper into hostile territory without sustenance. But his most infamous tactic, the one that would strike terror into the heart of the Ottoman Sultan himself, was the impalement of thousands of enemy soldiers. As the Ottoman forces advanced, they were met with a grisly sight, a forest of impaled bodies stretching for miles, a stark reminder of what awaited any invaders. According to accounts, Sultan Mehmed II was so horrified by the spectacle that he withdrew his forces, unwilling to continue his campaign against a man so ruthless. Vlad's use of terror was not confined to foreign invaders. Within his own kingdom, Vlad ruled with an iron fist, punishing crime and disloyalty with the same brutal efficiency he showed his enemies. While many feared him, others admired his ability to maintain order and protect his people from outside threats. In a time of chaos and uncertainty, Vlad's extreme methods were seen by some as necessary for survival. But the cost of this protection was steep. His cruelty knew no bounds. Vlad's terrifying methods would immortalize him in folklore, inspiring countless tales and legends, most famously the character of Count Dracula. Yet behind the supernatural myths lay a man whose real legacy was one of ruthless tactics, brilliant military strategy, and an iron will to protect his homeland at any cost. Despite his brutal success against the Ottomans, Vlad's reign would not last forever. Political instability, betrayals, and shifting alliances within Eastern Europe ultimately led to his downfall. In 1462, Vlad was betrayed and captured by the Hungarian king, Matthias Corvinus. He spent more than a decade in captivity before briefly regaining his throne in 1476. However, his second reign was short-lived. That same year, Vlad was killed in battle under mysterious circumstances. His body was never recovered, leaving the details of his death shrouded in mystery. Fitting for a man who had built his legacy on fear and legend. Though Vlad the Impaler ruled for only a brief time, his legacy has endured for centuries. To this day, he remains a symbol of Romanian resistance against foreign invasion, a national hero to some, and a figure of terror to others. The man behind the legend of Dracula was far more complex than any fictional vampire. He was a cunning leader, a ruthless warrior, and a master of psychological warfare. Vlad's brutal tactics may have been born out of necessity, but they created a legacy that will never be forgotten. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this deep dive into history, don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment below about which historical figure you'd like to learn about next.